So this is the Colnago Y1RS. Not quite mine, but the exact same as mine, minus the wheels. And I've been riding it for just about 8 weeks now and put a little bit under 2,000 kilometers on that bike. So I want to give you my not quite long-term review, but at least I can give you a solid review after putting some mileage on the bike, rather than my first ride and first impressions video, which I did here. Oh, thank you. Perfect, thank you. Let me have a sip of this first. Such a good Spanish latte. What I want to talk about in this video is the strengths of the bike, the potential downsides, who I think it's for, who it's not for, based on what kind of rides I do and who I am as a rider and as a coach, and my honest feedback, whether you should buy it or not. So first things first, let me just kind of give you a little bit of context into what kind of rider I am and what I do. I consider myself a pretty good amateur. By no means professional. My numbers aren't outrageous. I have a really good sprint power. I have not so great aerobic power. And so you could classify me as a sprinter. I traditionally do shorter rides. In the 1 to 2 hour zone would be my regular ride. A long ride for me is 3 hours plus. My longest ride is around 6 hours. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I don't foresee myself doing a ride longer than 6 hours anytime soon. And even 3 hours is enough, at least for me, to tell whether the Colnago is comfortable for that kind of endurance range. So all that being said, here's why I'm telling you this. I think the Y1RS specializes in a few things and does them really well. However, it lacks some other things. So let's talk about what it does well. Number one, and this is obvious, it holds its speed very well. And you can really tell above that 35, 40 kilometer an hour range, which is what the pros are doing, obviously. Above 40 kilometers an hour, it almost feels effortless to maintain that speed. Almost. Of course, you still have to be putting in the watts, you still have to be generating power, but it's considerably easier than my non-aero climbing bike, the S-Works Athos, to hold higher speeds and to maintain those speeds for less effort. That being said, I also think that there is a lot of merit in saying if you yourself are not able to hold aero positions for a long period of time, then the bike is only going to help so much. Cheers to that. At those kinds of speeds, especially when descending, this is something I've really noticed, it almost feels like it's slicing through the air. But it literally feels almost like I guess you could say a super bike. It just feels like slicing, like a pizza cutter or a paper airplane. And also, I think it descends really well because it's really stiff. At least in my limited experience descending, I've climbed a couple mountains with it. Cornering is really comfortable on that bike. Again, I'm not doing any races, at least not in the foreseeable future, because I care about my personal safety and don't trust the etiquette of a lot of other riders. But if I were, this would be the bike that I would choose to race with. The things I think it doesn't do so well with. Number one, it's not quite as snappy or responsive as I would like, especially as a sprinter. When I'm putting, let's say 12, 13, 14, 1500 watts through, it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel as quick to absorb those watts as my other bike would. And so sometimes it feels like it takes a little bit extra. Now, granted, this could be due to the 1 kilogram extra weight, but let's be honest, 1 kilogram extra weight is sometimes the daily fluctuations that you have with yourself in your own body, with myself in my own body. When I wake up one day I might be 76.5, the other day I might be 78. But I'll leave that as a factor that could be coming into play here. It just doesn't feel as snappy or responsive as I would like it to. And I think what's deceiving about it is, you know, when you're seeing the Tour de France clips of Pogacar or UAE Team Emirates, like doing a really quick sprint on that bike, they look amazing. And obviously they're going to because they're pros. But I think for us as amateurs, I don't know if we are able to unlock the full potential of this bike, in all honesty. I don't know if we're able to unlock the full potential of any of the really crazy fast bikes these days because our power numbers are more modest, obviously, compared to pros. But at least in my short time trying to do sprints on that bike, it's not nearly as responsive as I would like. So if you don't know, I got my Y1RS from Belgium, this custom shop called Sky Bikes. Patrick, I appreciate your help. He built me a really cool, very custom Y1RS. Like, we went all out and even small details were thought of and accounted for. And in fact, some people ask me why Belgium. It's because it was the only one that had the bike that I wanted and the color that I wanted in stock, ready to ship, and arrive 2 days after. Which, even here in the UAE, there were no Y1RSs available for months to come. They were on back order. So, okay, all this to say, strengths, weaknesses, who I think it's for. I think it's for not your weekend warrior, unless you have the money, of course. If you have the money and you want to spend it, by all means, go ahead and spend it. I did. So I can't really blame you. That being said, I'm not a weekend warrior. I do ride 5 or 6 times a week. But I don't think that it's for the average amateur. I honestly think I'm not even unlocking the full potential of this bike. That being said, it does make me want to be better. It does make me want to go faster and work harder. And it's motivated me to put in a lot more volume and a lot more miles on the bike. And even in the past, however many weeks, I'm not going to disclose exact numbers, but I've improved substantially because of that motivating feeling to be as high end as the bike. Now, a few more critiques on Colnago's part. I think there were some details that when you're paying such a premium for should have been better accounted for than they were. Like the bottle cage holders. I think they're made out of like something nylon, polyurethane. Maybe I'm wrong here, but they're really heavy. And a lot of it, sometimes like you're looking at the bike and you're like feeling this and it feels like plastic. It's just like a fancy plastic. I think they could have done better. The fact that there's a few marginal gains that I can do right now, and I'll probably make a video about me doing this, but like there's a few small adjustments that could save me 1 to 400 grams on the frame. Like those stack up. For under $500, I'm able to shave off around 600 grams off the frame, which is more than half a kilo. Anyways, all this to say, I think it's a fantastic bike. I think it's really fast. I think it's obviously very hyped right now, seeing as even Pogacar's frame, which was here somewhere, I think it probably went to its rightful owner by now, but that thing sold for $190,000 at auction. So it's obviously overhyped, but it's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. It's almost like a statement piece. I think it's fantastic for pros or really strong amateurs, maybe Cat 1 racers. For us less strong amateurs, I'm like Cat 2 on a good day. My sprint is more Cat 1. My aerobic powers are more Cat 2. I would say maybe I'm not quite unlocking the full potential of the bike, but there is room for improvement and it's motivating me to make those improvements. Do I think you should buy it? If you want. Yeah, really. If your wife lets you and you have the finances. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if this helps. If you are looking for a Y1RS, I think Patrick at Sky Bikes does have a few more in stock. And let me tell you, he does some really cool custom builds that I have not seen anywhere else. There's a bare carbon frame, which in my opinion is the nicest color, better than the black world champion that I have. Anyways, hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. One more critique I thought of real quickly as I just finished filming. This bike gets dirty very, very easily. Maybe it's just the color, but like one ride and I have to clean it. That's just my last critique.